How's it going, everyone? San Diego Comic-Con has just started this week, so companies are probably ready to announce a lot of cool products. So we're going to talk about Square Enix's stuff at the moment first. So they just kind of listed a whole bunch of new Bring Arts figures for pre-order for Final Fantasy 16, and then some Final Fantasy 10 Play Arts figures as well. There may have been more that I've just not seen yet, or they might be coming later on this week, but still plenty of figures that they kind of just listed, and yeah, it was quite a surprise this morning. But yeah, starting with Final Fantasy 16, these are Bring Arts figures, so these are the kind of 6-inch scale figures they're not that uncommon now with Bring Arts. They've been doing them for a while. I have stopped sort of buying them because I wasn't too impressed with the kind of quality, and yeah, I just didn't really enjoy them as much. With these Final Fantasy 16 ones, so they're basically covering most of the key cast. Now, I haven't finished the game yet. I still haven't got to the point of, say, battling Hugo. That's not really a spoiler, to be honest. So half these characters I don't know enough about at the moment, but there's a lot being covered here. So you've got Clive with Torgal. I think you can buy them separately as well. You've got Sid, you've got Jill, you've got Benedicta, Hugo, Dion, and then Barnabas. Those last three I don't know that much about because I think where I am at the game, just don't know enough about them so far. To be honest with you about the game, I do feel like it's dragging a little bit, and it's a little bit just kind of dragging and slow paced. So it's slightly frustrating. Definitely not the Final Fantasy that I'm enjoying the most, unfortunately. But that's kind of a different topic. So talk about these figures though. So half of these figures, like I said, I don't know enough about the characters, but all of these figures are actually coming out in 2024 from April. So Clive and Torgal come out soonest, and then the rest kind of trail a month or a couple of months behind Clive. So up until September or even August, something like that for next year. So it's quite a while before these come out. Now, actually talking about just the way these guys look. So again, they are the 6-inch Bring Arts, they're not the Play Arts. Something about them, it's the faces. I know what that's something. It's the faces on all of them look slightly off to me. I don't know why they look off, but Clive, like if you don't see his face, it's not too bad. He looks okay, although I would have thought the armor, the dark browns were black rather than dark browns. Maybe that's my TV settings that I've just misapplied them, but yeah, they are dark brown. It's not the end of the world, but his sculpt overall looks good, but I'm not super keen on his face. He does come with his sword and the dagger. That dagger is the one that I think they make that pact with Sid with. And he comes with alternate hand parts as well. So his hands look sculpted pretty nicely in the promo shots that are provided. If you buy Torgal, you can buy Torgal and Clive together or separately. Torgal also comes with an alternate face plate with a bit more of an angry look with furrowed eyebrows. That looks really good. For Torgal, it's actually, I guess, I'm interested in it because it's that smaller scale 6-inch. I don't really have any quadrupeds in that size, so I'm kind of interested in picking up Torgal just to see how he is in that scale. Personally, I don't care that much about Torgal, even in the game. Like I don't really care about people always being so close to dogs. I'm sorry, dog fans, but I don't mind dogs, but I think dog fans are a different breed of problem for me. But yeah, Torgal, it's okay. It looks good though. I think Torgal does actually look quite good. But I feel weird if I just buy Torgal and not Clive. So I'm not sure if I'll get any of these ones, by the way. But that's Clive and Torgal. We'll go on to Sid next. Sid, I quite like as a character in the game. I don't think his English voice matches the character necessarily, but I do like the character and I do like the voice. Just together is a bit confusing, if that makes sense. But with Sid, similar sort of thing with Clive as well. So his face just looks, his face in particular, Sid's face, is even worse in my opinion. I don't really like the face in the promo shots. Again, I do like the sculpt though. The sculpt looks really good. The colors look really nice on it as well. It's not exactly the most vibrant figure, but I like the colors that they've chosen for it. He looks really good. Like the outfit. He comes with his sword and both his swords actually, and I think his dagger as well, that they make that pact with. Plus he comes with alternate hands just like Clive too. He seems pretty simple overall speaking. What I have noticed though with some of these figures, when I used to complain about Bring Arts, even though I don't buy them anymore, is the foot articulation, the heel in particular, I didn't like, especially with the Kingdom Hearts stuff. When they originally released Kingdom Hearts, actually, they maybe phased that out. I didn't like it, but it looks like for these Final Fantasy 16 figures, they've gone to more standard ball joint, ball peg stuff, which I personally prefer more. But we'll kind of talk a bit about that for the tedious FF10 one in a bit. Overall, I don't think Sid looks bad. It's this face again that just looks kind of to me that's not Sid, that's someone else just happened to be wearing Cid's clothes. So not too happy about the face for Cid, if I'm totally honest. Then we come on to Jill. Jill probably fares a lot better in these promo shots, in my opinion. Colors, though, I think might be a little bit more vibrant than what I think they are in game. But I don't think they're bad in the promo shots. I think she looks pretty good though overall. I really like the detail around the kind of sash midsection that she's got going on, similar to what Dion has, which we'll get onto in a bit. So Jill comes with her sword and then alternate hand parts. She has one gloved hand, one ungloved hand, but she looks pretty good. I do wonder though, are they going to give that annoying jingly sound with Jill? Because running around with Jill in the party has got to be one of the most annoying things about this game. Is something on her outfit makes that frustrating sound. It's so high pitched, and I don't know what it is, but it 100% comes from Jill. Some others online have been talking about it as well. So Jill is very annoying for that reason. The character's slowly growing on me. She doesn't do much where I am in the game at the moment, but I like her design. I think it looks pretty good. But that little jingly, that chinking sound is super annoying. What I will also say about her face, it's better than Clive and Cid's. Still not perfect in my opinion. Someone could probably actually use that head sculpt and kind of modify a little bit to make a custom Tifa, to be quite honest. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what someone ends up doing with this one. But Jill looks okay. It's not too bad. Moving on from Jill, we'll go on to Hugo. So Hugo, where I am again in the game, he's only been in it a little bit. Hugo as a character really on this figure, I think I feel it's a bit of a miss, but maybe it's because I've not seen him a lot in the game. I think his face also looks kind of weird. It's giving me vibes of, what was that guy's name in Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater? Now that I've said that, I think people know what I mean by that. His outfit looks good and on the figure. That doesn't look too bad. You've got the details around his kind of main outfit, the camo details I'm talking about. That looks pretty good on there. Again, his face sculpt looks a bit weird. His knee bend looks kind of not that great actually. But he looks okay overall. Let's move on to Benedicta. So Benedicta is a pretty loud character, if I call her that, I guess. Her outfit doesn't look too bad in this kind of promo shots that they're showing here. She also comes with her weapon and alternate hand parts as well. Her sword looks really cool, actually. That's one thing I like about these, is less so the figures themselves, but more for the weapons, because they're quite interesting to look at. The figure here, same thing as the others. I'm not a super fan of her face. I think it looks probably better, maybe on par with, say, Jill. Like, not bad as Clive and Cid especially, but still something about it is a little bit off. I don't really want to blame that it's a 6-inch scale, because we've seen plenty of anime figures and stuff that look really good. So I don't know what it is. Sometimes Square Enix bring arts and play arts figures, their faces have been really, I feel they, I don't know. I don't think they're performing very well. I don't think they look very good in the last few years with their faces, sadly. But the sculpt itself, the rest of the figure looks pretty good. I do like the outfit, the inside, the gold paneling. That looks really cool. But she looks fine. Nothing too special. But it is Benedicta, so I'm sure she has her fans. Then we come on to Barnabas. Barnabas, I know even less about, because he's been very rarely in the game at this point, and I'm sure I'm like halfway through or something. So Barnabas, good looking sculpt. His hair looks actually quite nice. I really like his hair sculpt. That's got a really shaggy look to it, but still kind of fashionable, trendy. It looks really nice. His face, even though I haven't seen him a lot, I don't think he looks very good for the face. Again, not terrible, still a step up above Cid, but not great. Rest of the body looks great though. Rest of the sculpt looks great. His outfit looks, not his outfit, his sword, I don't know much. I don't know what to say about that too much, because I don't know enough about it, but that's an interesting weapon for sure. Plus he comes with his alternate hands, which are pretty basic and plain, but that sword, yeah, is definitely something. Now I'm curious. Maybe I should stop here and go back and play Final Fantasy 16 and finish the game. But yeah, that's going to be Barnabas. He looks pretty good overall. Then we come on to the last Final Fantasy 16 figure, which is Dion. So Dion, I don't know again much about, basically only from that Odin and Bahamut. Awesome cutscene figure. He's a Dragoon type, I guess, because he has that little Dragoon weapon. He's got alternate hands as well, the armor-clad hands, which look really good, actually. Once again, also, the weapon does look very good here. The actual figure itself, again, the face isn't too bad. The face is actually giving me, it reminds me of Hope from Final Fantasy 13, which is probably not what they wanted or intended, but that's what the figure looks like. He's got a bit of a small head on this figure, maybe because his outfit's quite kind of frilly, I guess. I do like the design on his kind of mid-grey section of the outfit, of the coat. That looks really good, similar to Jill. There's a lot of interesting pattern work and design work on his clothes, so I really like that. That's definitely standing out for me. Very good looking figure for Dion. I don't know much about him, but this is definitely one that I would say actually looks quite good. Sad part is, though, just like the play art, which we'll get into, is they're using the soft plastic. I'm assuming it's soft plastic, which for figures like this, I've really kind of turned off of now. I think it really hinders the movement a lot. It definitely hinders the movement a lot. So I prefer they didn't do that. But it doesn't actually look too bad on the promo shots for this Dion figure. It actually doesn't look too bad. It is kind of growing on me the more I look at it. But again, the face sculpt is definitely the weakest part of this figure. Also, now that I kind of look at the shots a bit more, is the elbow joints of play arts and bring arts are typically kind of bigger than, say, the Bandai or Figma stuff. So once you kind of get into a cool pose, you might not notice it. But yeah, it just kind of stuck out to me a couple of times with Dion especially, and then some other figures as well. But yeah, Dion for me, I think, yeah, he looks like the better of the six characters so far. But that's pretty much all the Final Fantasy 16 Bring Arts figures that they've announced. All of these are available to pre-order from many retailers. Check your favorite retailer. You can probably also use the official Square Enix website as well, which might be cheaper for you, might not be, depends where you're located. And yeah, if you're in the UK, you're not going to get them for a good while. Square Enix UK site tends to get stuff a lot later. Might be better to just import it from Japan directly if you want. If I'm totally honest, I probably won't pick up any of these. Dion is tempting and Torgal is tempting, but part of it is because I'm always not convinced by promo shots from Square Enix's stuff anymore. Plus, 16 as a game is not doing a lot for me, including the characters. So when I say the game, characters, all that kind of included, isn't doing a lot for me. So I don't really feel attached to any of these guys so far. So I doubt I will get any of these. Price-wise, these kind of all range from like 11,000 yen, something like that, and upwards to about 13,000 yen maybe. The Clive and Torgal one, if you buy them together, that's obviously going to cost you more. As I said, these release dates for these figures span from April up to around August, September time next year. So a good while away. But yeah, a bit expensive for me. Then again, something like an SV action figure, say the Spider-Man ones, they're around this price as well, same scale. So prices are getting up there for this scale of action figure these days. Moving on from the Bring Art stuff, though, let's talk about the Play Arts. I'm just going to pull that up on my screen as well. So we've got two Play Arts figures. We've got brand new versions of Tidus and Yuna, both from Final Fantasy X. A lot of people's favorite Final Fantasy, definitely one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. 8 is probably still one of my favorites. 6 is still one of my favorites, and then probably 8 after that. 10 is, I always struggle. You know, I think everyone has their top favorite, but after number 1, it's for me, it's a struggle. What follows after my all-time favorite, which is 6, 8, 10, 7, 9. When I think about it, I kind of, that's growing on me as well now. I want to replay that as well, above most of the others. But 10 definitely is one that I'm quite fond of. So talking about these figures themselves, so these are Play Arts figures. They're not Bring Arts figures. So just to remind people, Bring Arts are 6-inch scale. Play Arts are, they're like 1/7 scale, so there's some weird unique scale, and their scale changes. They're basically bigger figures, right? And they cost more. So, you know, Tidus is 17,000 yen, Yuna is 17,000 yen as well. Depends where you buy them from. Chances are, if you get it from Square Enix store directly, you're going to be paying the proper retail price, so that's probably going to be more close to 20,000 yen. But yeah, expensive is basically how I would describe Play Arts figures. Other than expensive, it's hit or miss. And these look kind of, I don't know. Let's talk about it. So let's start with Tidus first. Tidus, I would say the colors stand out for me the most. The promo shots of Tidus 100% stand out to me. He's got vibrant yellows, reds, and blues that I feel are slightly a tad too vibrant, but not necessarily a bad thing. Just something that I feel stands out. even the blacks. There's just something about this figure that looks like he's just been dipped in water. Maybe that's the actual look that they were going for. I guess if he's just coming out of a session of Blitzball, but he definitely looks a little bit more, when I say vibrant, maybe more saturated. Saturated is probably the word I'm looking for. But yeah, he definitely looks a little bit unusual, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Sculpt wise, he's not looking too bad. He looks decent, I would say. In my opinion, he looks pretty decent. His clothes, the left arm that is unusual for him, as in it's not symmetrical, looks decent as well. The top looks decent. Everything looks pretty decent. But the problem we get to, same as the Bring Arts FF16 stuff, is their face or head sculpt. So the hair isn't terrible. I think it looks okay, but it feels like, so on one hand, some of the shots look close to the, I guess, the CG stuff from the game, which is good. I like that face a lot. His CG face in Final Fantasy X to me is peak Tidus. His remastered in-game face is absolutely terrible, and I think most people kind of feel that way. But yeah, it looks closer to that, but still off. It's like a hybrid between in-game and CG, and it still looks off. And then you've got his alternate face, which is the smiling with the teeth, which just looks bad in my opinion. I don't like it. Yeah, he just looks really. He looks like some sort of villain almost. I don't like that face. Long story short, I don't like that face. Moving on to his accessories. So he comes with his that was his ultimate weapon, right? His God, what were they called again in the game? I can't remember the actual term, but basically his ultimate weapon with that water effect, which looks good. Again, the blue looks super saturated on that, like compared to say the CG artwork, especially the key art that they kind of used to go with Tidus. That looks incredibly blue, really, really dark blue for that. I like the effect. Really looks great. I like the effect. And I really like that weapon. That's still, I used to draw it a lot as a teenager back in school. I really like that weapon design. It looks amazing, but it's super, super blue. It shouldn't be that deep blue in my opinion. He's got the alternate hands that he comes with, and he also comes with his own Blitzball, which looks pretty good. The Blitzball, they have done Tidus as a play arts before. I can't recall if he originally came with the Blitzball for the original Tidus. I'll put up pictures of the original Tidus just for comparison's sake, but off the top of my head, I think that one might have been a little bit better looking. I'm not sure. Scale might be completely off now though, so yeah, if you're going to buy this, you're probably going to restart a brand new scale. Playarts can be very inconsistent with the sizing of their characters. The last thing I'll say about this Tidus, his shoes, his sneakers look pretty good. I do quite like the design of those, and it looks like the articulation is actually in the high top bit of the shoe itself, which is how I like it, and it's not doing what they did with Kingdom Hearts Bring Arts figures when they first did Bring Arts stuff. So that looks pretty good there. Tidus comes out in April, by the way, but let's move on to Yuna. And speaking of release dates, Yuna also comes out following Tidus in May of next year. And then Yuna, let's talk about Yuna first. So I'm going to jump straight into her very, very beautiful, beautiful looking skirt. We'll just call it a skirt. I really like the purple on that. I don't think it should be that saturated again, but I really like it. Purple stands out to me. It's a very beautiful looking color for Yuna's dress here. It looks nice. I like the flower pattern. That's really, really pretty on her dress. The little sway. I love that little sway in that first promo shot. It looks really good. And it makes it look like it's fabric, but it isn't. I'm 100% sure that is not fabric, which is a shame because I think for her, they could have gotten away with fabric for that entire piece for this figure for sure. Maybe not the top section, but definitely for the purple skirt, they could have and should have done a fabric piece. Even for her sleeves. So her sleeves are actually soft plastic. It looks like soft plastic anyway, or yeah, that's what it looks like for me. They don't look too bad. I think fine. Keeping that as soft plastic is fine, but I definitely think her skirt should have been soft fabric. I don't know. The product description, I'll have to check it again, but it doesn't look like it's going to be soft fabric. It looks nice though. I do like that purple and I do like the flowers, as I said. The rest of the clothes on Yuna look really good. I think that looks really solid. I think her weapon looks good as well. I forgot the name of her weapon, but that looks really good. Her hands are pretty plain. She has a couple of rings on her fingers, which is fine. Skin tone looks good. Again, this is promo stuff. I don't always believe it with Square Enix, like I said. Maybe they'll even tone down the saturation of the colors. Who knows? But what can be the thing that I don't like about this? probably the face. Yes, it's definitely the face. I think the face definitely looks better than Tidus's one, for sure. Not bad, actually. It's not bad, but I still think there's something off about her face than the way it should be. It's not. Yeah, something about it is a little bit off for me. Not a bad figure by any means. I still think Yuna looks very good. I'm very tempted to actually pick up this Yuna one, but I always get into that dilemma of if I pick up one, I kind of need the partner figure with it, and in this case, it should be Tidus. But I don't really want the Tidus because I don't think it looks super good. I think it looks okay, but plus it's play arts. I try to avoid getting play arts these days because they're so big and expensive. But Yuna one, that one does look very tempting, I have to say. 17,000 yen with the exchange rate these days is pretty good, so I might consider pre-ordering Yuna. We'll see. It's play art, so it'll probably be available even upon release date as well for the same price. So I'll sleep on that for a little bit longer. But that covers this video's content of what I wanted to talk about. So again, the Bring Arts Final Fantasy 16 lineup of figures, plus the Final Fantasy 10 play art stuff. I imagine there's going to be way more action figure news coming out from other manufacturers as well. So this is just day one of Comic-Con. I'm not there personally. I wish I could be at Comic-Con, but sadly, yeah, I just am not there. So this is just me looking at product listings that I saw this morning, which I always do. Every morning, got to check Hobby Genki and all of that good stuff so I can get some action figure pre-orders in. Let me know what you think about the Final Fantasy X Play Arts figures and the Final Fantasy 16 Bring Arts figures. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you share the same opinion as me? Maybe, maybe not. Do you think I should pick them up? I'm leaning towards no. For pretty much all of 16 stuff, I'm probably not going to get them. 10, we'll see what happens. Yuna is tempting, like I said. That said, though, by the way, before I end this video, I will pick up the FF7 Cloud Bring Arts, the one that's based more on the Nomura artwork rather than remake Cloud. So that one I'm interested in because it's different. Whereas these, same old, and Square Enix to me, yeah, they don't really deliver, in my opinion. We'll see if I change my mind nearer release date. But yeah, sound off in the comments below if you're going to pick up these figures or interested or have any thoughts on these figures yourself. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.